The Fox 61 News at 6 starts now.
The 2026 legislative session is underway. State leaders gathered today at the Capitol to hear Governor Ned Lamart's goals for the year during his State of the State address. Thanks for streaming the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Annette Montgomery. Now, there is a lot to talk about, so let's get out to Fox 61's Victoria Anderson, who spent the day at the Capitol and breaks down the governor's topics.
Governor Ned Lamont's State of the State address featured a lot of to-dos, as well as what he thinks helps the state stand out on a national level. The opening remarks kicked off the 2026 legislative session, as well as the governor's looming re-election campaign.
And my privilege and pleasure to introduce our state's fearless leader and my partner in government, the Honorable Ned Lamont, Governor.
Taxes, education, and immigration enforcement were just some of the topics top of mind for Governor Lamont as the 2026 legislative session kicked off. Of course, not without comment from across the aisle, especially from 2026 gubernatorial candidate State Senator Ryan Fazio.
What we really need is leadership that will cut taxes on the middle class for the long run, not just for a couple months when he's up for re-election.
This was State Senator Fazio's response to Governor Lamont's latest pitch at tackling the state's high tax rate. This time, he's looking to tackle the issue through rebates instead of tax credits previously proposed by Democrats, including Senate President pro tempore Martin Looney.
He is committed to a $500 million in relief. We are committed in the same way. We will have negotiations about what form that will take.
The governor also previewed an executive order to create a commission to tackle education issues like funding, special education reform, and district division. However, House GOP leader Vincent Candelore says the state needs to increase the education funding instead of just talking about it.
He's created a blue ribbon committee to study it. We don't want to study it. We actually want to put more money into our schools.
And the topic driving the most conversation across the aisle was immigration.
ICE, everywhere you go uninvited, violence follows. Go home. We're keeping our Connecticut safe without you.
Earlier this year, Senate Democrats announced plans for a bill that would tighten ICE agents' access to schools, courts, and places of work through cutting connections between state agencies and federal agencies. Senate Minority Leader Stephen Harding says that's the opposite of what we should be working toward.
So I guess he's saying that he does not want our law enforcement officials at the federal level to communicate with our law enforcement here locally.
All of this is just a preview of this year's fight for the future of the state.
That's the Connecticut I love. That's the America that we fight for. God bless America and the great state of Connecticut.
The 2026 session will go on for 13 weeks, a shorter session than usual in Hartford. Victoria Anderson, Fox 61.
And tonight, hospitals in the state are reacting to Lamont's budget adjustment proposal. The Connecticut Hospital Association said they are concerned, warning that it threatens health care access and affordability. The association said in part, quote, "The result will be fewer resources at the bedside, higher health care costs imposed on consumers, and more strained workforce," end quote. And we also heard from local nonprofits. The state's Community Nonprofit Alliance said while they appreciate the proposal to create a new advisory committee, they are concerned about the federal funding gaps and said, quote, "Our programs continue to struggle after falling behind for nearly 2 decades. Now we face added pressure with the federal government's chaotic retreat from its traditional responsibilities," end quote.
After his address, Governor Lamont also announced he signed a declaration that will enable the recently created Emergency State Response Fund to continue functioning through the 2027 fiscal year. The reserve was created in November to quickly respond to ongoing federal funding cuts affecting essential services. Well, today, Republicans pushed back against Lamont, saying the emergency funding should not rest solely in the governor's hands.
The party that champions the No Kings rallies and No Kings efforts is the same exact party now that is allowing one man to be king with an additional $500 million in an election year. It's wrong to utilize these crises in a political fashion.
Now, the General Assembly is expected to consider the governor's legislation in the coming days.
Well, the time is 6:04, and let's get a check on the weather as some Arctic air is making its way back to the state.
Joining the Arctic air that's already been here for a while.
Yeah.
Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank is here now with the first check of the forecast. Right?
Yeah, we go from cold to much colder as we head into this weekend. So we do have a weather impact alert in effect Saturday and Sunday for sub-zero wind chills and also accumulating snow on Saturday. We're not expecting much, but an inch or two could make the roads slippery. So we just wanted to let you know about this kind of right out of the gate if you're making plans outside this weekend. Again, there could be some travel issues Saturday, and then it's just all about the cold and some gusty winds too. So no picnic this weekend. Here's a look at the temperatures right now. We are in the 20s across the state, and low temperatures tonight will fall back into the single digits and teens. Cold, absolutely, but we're kind of getting to be pros at it at this point. Here's a look at the afternoon. Lots of sunshine from start to finish tomorrow, mid-20s at noon, and high temperatures will be right around the freezing point. So very similar to the temperatures we had out there today, and we'll play it again for Friday, except with more clouds. Late Friday night, we'll see a few light snow showers develop, but there could be a little burst of snow right around daybreak on Saturday. So again, that could cause some road issues. We'll talk more about that, plus the coldest air of the season for Sunday morning coming up.
Thank you, Rach. And the state's cold weather protocol is in effect now through the 10th. So if you are in need of shelter or a warming center, just call 211 or visit 211.org. And remember, transportation can be provided as well.
We just learned in the last 30 minutes that a Newington volunteer firefighter is on administrative leave right now. The department's chief confirmed with us he's under a criminal investigation. They did say it's not related to the department, and they were notified just yesterday. Officials tell us the firefighter has been with the department for a couple of years. Right now, no details about the investigation have been released, but we did reach out to the department for more information.
A late-night home invasion led to a man being doused in fire retardant and forced to empty his pockets. New Haven police say last night a man claimed he was threatened by a pair of men armed with a gun and a fire extinguisher. Fox 61's Erin Coogan is in New Haven now, and she breaks down this chilling encounter.
Well, guys, police say it was a home invasion turned armed robbery turned carjacking, and it all happened at this small apartment complex off Fitch Street in New Haven. And while thankfully that victim wasn't hurt, those we spoke to say the violence is especially concerning as just right down the road is the campus of Southern Connecticut State University.
This is out of the movie. Like, this is crazy. These, like, you can't make this stuff up. You can, because they're doing it.
A fire extinguisher. It's probably not the first object you'd think of hearing of an armed robbery, but paired with the presence of a handgun, and New Haven police say it was enough for two suspects to rob a man of his keys and take off in his car.
It's honestly not surprising. The broker people get, the more desperate they're going to be and the more dangerous things they're going to do to make sure they're providing for themselves and their families.
It was just after 11 p.m. that police say the two men made their way into an unlocked unit at this Fitch Street apartment complex. Finding the victim inside, police say the duo then ordered him to empty his pockets. Amidst the demands, police say he was then doused with the contents of the fire extinguisher.
Then I hear they sprayed him.
Greg Stroud says he used to live in those very units.
I mean, we used to rent a room over there, and I just can't imagine, man, what happened. I mean, you just have to give it up. I mean, a gun and a fire extinguisher.
According to police, the suspects then drove away in the victim's car, only to be located shortly thereafter in the Fairhaven neighborhood. Officers tried to conduct a motor vehicle stop. However, the two drove away again.
They'll get caught. Everything done in the dark comes to light at some point.
In describing his assailants to officers later, that victim recalled the man with a handgun to be wearing a black ski mask and standing at about 5'8" to 5'10". He described the man with a fire extinguisher as heavy-set, of Hispanic origin, with a light complexion, also standing at 5'8" to 5'10". As of now, New Haven police say those suspects still have not been identified nor taken into custody, but the victim's car was recovered ditched late Tuesday night. In New Haven, Erin Coogan, Fox 61.
Tonight, Clinton police are looking for two men who they say did a smash and grab yesterday. We're told it happened at a K Jewelers at 5:30 in the afternoon. Investigators say no one was hurt and no firearms were shown, but they haven't said how much was taken. But detectives tell us they do have strong leads.
A firefighter is recovering, and a home in Brookfield now has major damage after a fire started early this morning. Fox 61's Jalen Anderson has more information on what took place.
The family that lives at this home on Fleetwood Lane is now wondering what comes next. Emergency officials say they were called to the home around 10:45 Wednesday morning. When they got there, firefighters with the Brookfield Volunteer Fire Department determined the fire started on the second floor. Fire Chief Gary Gramling says there weren't any fire hydrants on the street and heavy wind conditions made it a dangerous situation. They upgraded the fire to a second alarm fire, and crews from surrounding towns were called in to help.
It was a significant fire, taking in daytime and the wind conditions and the fact there's no fire hydrants on this street. We immediately made the call for a second alarm. Yeah, we're very grateful, especially during daytime hours where manpower is a little low, that we can call right away, and we have all these towns and the city of Danbury come and assist us.
One Brookfield firefighter suffered minor injuries. The cause of this fire is still under investigation. In Brookfield, Jalen Anderson, Fox 61.
A man was arrested yesterday in connection to a Norwich restaurant shooting from last September. Police say Jared Steele fired a gun in Pistol Pete's Bar and Grill parking lot, and he shot 2 people he didn't know. Officials say they had non-life-threatening injuries. Investigators haven't said what led to the shooting. Steele is currently being held in federal custody in an unrelated case.
A Hartford woman charged in the 2023 death of her toddler will not serve time behind bars. Tabitha Frank pleaded guilty to manslaughter and risk of injury to a child and was given a 5-year sentence for both. Now, both charges were suspended. Police say her 2-year-old son, Cornelius, died after he fell from a 3rd-story apartment window. Officials say the mother's 5 children were home alone at the time. Frank will be on probation for the next 5 years.
And a Hartford jury found a man guilty of kidnapping and killing a Farmington man in 2010, putting an end to the cold case. Police say on December 1st of that year, Sean Milner took Wakas Raymond in front of his business. Officers say Milner demanded money from Raymond and then shot him multiple times. Raymond later died at the hospital. It wasn't until 2023 that Milner was arrested. His DNA was found inside the victim's car as well as on his clothing. Milner is scheduled to be sentenced next month. And the suspect has been identified in an officer-involved shooting in Spencer, Massachusetts. Authorities say the suspect is 35-year-old Patrick Madison. We first brought you this as breaking news last night when a person was found shot. Officers confronted a suspect matching a description. Police say shots were fired and he ran into a store. After a SWAT response, police say there was another exchange of gunfire. Madison was killed and a Millbury police officer was injured. The investigation is ongoing.